Alright, we're about to talk about not just Suicide Squad, but general DCEU information that came the last couple of hours today. Let's first start off with Suicide Squad. So, Suicide Squad, as of yesterday, which would have been October the 11th, is now grossed $322,800,155 domestic. And that's pretty significant, and we'll show you why in a minute. Its foreign gross is saying still 419,700,000. That's likely to change. And its worldwide gross is now 742,500,155 dollars. Now, when you look at its domestic total, that's significant. I'll tell you why. Because it moved it up from position number 49. It has now surpassed Shrek the Third. I don't know if you guys remember that movie. That's a while now since that's the third Shrek movie. But anyway, it's past Shrek the Third, so it's definitely now chasing down Forrest Gump and Batman v Superman. Will it catch them? That's anybody's guess. We'll see. It's definitely closing the gap on them, though. It's going after them now. So that's a little update on Suicide Squad. Here's some more Suicide Squad information for you guys. So we went to the Argus website, and in there were some information you can get, but most of it was decrypted, most of it was restricted, right? Well, one such person was able to decrypt what was actually found in the Argus site, and this photo came up. Aquaman's photo of Aquaman, okay, which is pretty awesome. Here it is here. But do also notice something very interesting. This photo that you're watching at here of Aquaman is actually a photo that was found in the movie. Remember in the movie when Amanda Waller gives Batman all the files on the metahumans that she has gathered? Well, guess what? That photo is actually this photo right here. Aquaman. So I thought that fan was able to not only decrypt, but he was also able to associate that file from the movie. In fact, if you go to the Argus site, and you go into Task Force X, these are all the pictures of the Suicide Squad members from the movie. Literally, these are the pictures of them in the movie. When you're looking at their files and stuff, literally, you can go and check out the movie and see those were the photos they used. Alright, let's move on to some more interesting information. So we just talked about Jason Momoa as Aquaman in the Justice League movie that's coming up. Well, here's another piece of interesting information. If you guys know anything about Mera from Aquaman, this is Mera here. She is Queen of the Atlanteans, and she basically looks like this in the comics. Here she is again in the comics, and she has certain powers and abilities, okay? And here she is again. This is her from the comics. Here she is actually using her powers to move the water and literally do certain things with that. Now here is some concept art of Mera that actually was designed, I'm assuming, in collaboration with James Wan, who is the director for the Aquaman film that will be coming up. And the design of Mera does resemble the design of Mera that we saw from the comics, and you can see that she has the powers also as Mera from the comics. Okay, what's very interesting is how she kind of looks kind of fish-like. The gear that she wears is kind of fish-like. It's very interesting how when you move from the comics to actual movies on TV, how they flush out a lot of details. Here is the design. This is sort of the cartoony design of Mera. And if we, again, I'm just going to go back to Mera from the comics for a minute so you guys can have a look at that and then how they flush out the design. So if you look at Mera from the comics, this is Mera from the comics, again, kind of fish-like looking, scale-like looking outfit. But then they flush out that outfit of Mera from the comics, they flush her out a bit, and we get this sort of design right here. We still got the basically we got almost everything that Mira has, but just a little bit more detail. See how detailed it is, but you can see she has the powers still that she had from the comics. Let me see if I can find some of those powers there. You can see she's using some of the powers right there. Let me see here. She's continuously using her powers. Here she's using the powers again. Okay, so this is Mira here, but it's flushed out, very much flushed out. Fantastic looking design. And then we have a sketch of that. Okay, and if you look, the design is very much like the comics. It really does pattern itself after the comics. Let me get here we are. There you see the sort of design here that keeps up, you know, the costuming. Look at everything. It's kind of fish-like, scale-like costuming, and look at this. This is kind of fish-like, scale-like as well. Okay, but just a lot more design into it. And there is her tiara, crown. You know, look at the crown there. Lots of details, just like Mira here. A lot of details. There's the tiara, the crown right there. She also wears earrings, which is kind of weird. But and then look at this. See the crown there fitting into her piece there. And this is the design again. This is the design of Mira. Very similar design. And then we have now the actual design of Mira here. See the crown. Her hair's kind of blocking if this design actually goes up and in like that. Still really remarkable. This seems to be an armored suit though she's wearing. Some sort of armored suit. Look at the plating. You still see the sort of fish-like, scale-like design. Notice again the elaborations of the design from the original design here. See the elaborations of the design there. The elaborations of the design here. Very fish-like. Look at the fin-like looking things there. And I'm assuming it's kind of webbed at the base. Look at the web-like kind of design there. So I'm believing they took directly from this design to get this right here. It's really fantastic. I really like it. Now I've been looking online at some comments about it, and they're saying, you know, the suit looks so heavy, and so this looks like a fitted suit. And I don't know what kind of materials both Aquaman and Mira use, but in water, which I think a lot of people don't factor in water, heavy things get lighter because water has a certain density. It's denser than air. So in fact, you have to have a lot of strength and power to move through the water very quickly anyway. So to say these suits are heavy, I don't even know if the suits are heavy to start with, okay? But obviously it's body armor, and just in case people don't understand, because I listen to some people talk and they don't seem to understand that Mira has to fight off these creatures from underwater. Look at these horrendous looking, kind of piranha looking, kind of barracuda looking creatures that live underwater. So really you can see she's immensely strong. All right, and apparently the suits are also to protect her from getting bitten by those things. So the answer to the question, why is she wearing an armor-plated suit? Well, for sure she's doing that to protect herself from these things. And then again, they live deep down in the ocean. Now obviously Mira and Aquaman, they have some sort of modification in their breathing abilities, so they can breathe on land and they can breathe in water. Or maybe they don't breathe at all. Who knows? Superman doesn't really, he kind of breathes, but he also feeds off of sunlight, so maybe they feed off of something else. I don't know. But what I do know is armor-plated suit, like a shell, protects you from attacks from animals that, you remember, they're huge animals underneath there. We can just think of the animals we know, sperm whales and squid and all kinds of things. So to have an armor-plated suit would make sense. And then the immense pressures underneath there, probably this suit also handles those pressures in deep sea. If you just think about these logistics, you have to think about all those logistics of why probably wear an armor-plated suit. I don't know how Aquaman, what he's made up of, or Mira, what she's made up of, We're assuming they're kind of humanoid in many respects. I don't know though. So it'll be very interesting to know more about Mira. Mira reminds me a little bit of a mermaid to some degree. So it is not surprising that she also noticed that her eyes are something like Aquaman's eyes. They kind of decolored, if you notice. And that would be because, again, there's not much light deep down where they live, where they exist. So there's a lot of things I would love to know about in terms of Mira. But for sure, she seems to have acquired the powers that she had in the comics. And for those of you who don't know about the powers in the comics and what Mira can do, I would suggest you go check out the comics. On that note, I thought I would cover these things, all DC, in one go. I heard some people say that the suit looks pretty dark. Actually, it's green. It's a green suit, and it's a light green suit at that. It's just the color coding that they're using for basically doing these films, a sort of blue light color coding kind of thing, gives it this particular color. And I think Zack Snyder does that because he's trying to keep the films looking very indie. Let's put it like that, an indie film where you use a certain color coding. And I really like it. I really dig Zack Snyder's color coding for his films. Does the suit here look less bright? Well, yeah, of course it looks less bright, but obviously it's gold and green. That's what you're looking at, not yellow and green. It's gold and green. Also, Aquaman's suit is also gold and green. Okay, so there you go. Now some people say, oh, it looks like farce uniform and stuff. I don't see it. I really don't see what they're talking about. If you guys see that, well, fine. I just don't see it. What I would say is, she looks remarkably fit. She looks remarkably strong. Looks remarkably badass, as they say. And so far, the women in the DCEU have just been badass. They've been badasses. I don't know one of them that's not looking fantastic as women comics. And comic accurate as well. Very much comic accurate. So I'm enjoying this, okay? For those people who are saying that it's drab and it's devoid of color, you've just been watching way too many Marvel flicks for my liking, you know. This is a different universe. I really dig it. It feels organic. It feels real. I love what Zack Snyder is doing. I hope he keeps doing it unapologetically. I love it. I love what David Ayer was doing as well. I'm looking forward to more. I really can't wait to see what Wonder Woman looks like, because it's going to be a different design. David Ayer's film was a different design. Oh man, it's just great. I can't wait for Justice League, but I'm gonna wait. I can't wait, but I will wait. I want them to do it right and get it right. I don't want it to be like BVS, where, you know, Zack Snyder's full what he wanted to do doesn't come out to light. I want what he wants to do come to light. Warner Brothers, please don't do Snyder in again. You did him in Watchmen. That's enough. Don't do him in again. You did him in BVS. That's enough. Don't do him in again. Let him do his film with Man of Steel. Let him do this film. Obviously, Zack Snyder is going to go against the grain in certain respects, and he's going to do things that are going to seem controversial to some people because they don't put their thinking caps on. So I expect it to be something, again, where there's going to be some kind of controversy in it, because Zack Snyder, he deconstructs heroes. He deconstructs superheroes. He looks for what really, you question everything. And so Zack Snyder's going to have a point in his movie, no doubt about it, like he did with BVS, but he did with Man of Steel, but Watchmen as well. I'm going to love this because that's what comic book movies do. Comic books are supposed to make you think about deeper things. And Zack Snyder does that. He makes you do that. That's why BVS is still so controversial, and people still talk about BVS. You know, they talk about it's the worst film ever and all that rubbish. We all know that's not true. And BVS makes you think. Zack Snyder so far, I love every single film he's done so far in the DCEU. It was only 2 films, but Man of Steel is one of my favorite films. I've been watching it. I still have to go back and watch it. when I find time this coming weekend. Hopefully I can do that along with watching The Accountant. You know, I gotta see The Accountant as well. Zack Snyder, man. Oh, Zack Snyder, I love him. Great director. Just give the guy a chance to do what he really needs to do with his films, though. I don't want to see no more ultimate cuts, folks. I don't want to hear about no ultimate cut for the Justice League. I don't want to hear about no ultimate cut for Wonder Woman. Stop it with this rubbish, man. Whether the critics pan the movie or not, give us the best cut of the movie. That's all I ask. The best cut of the movie. I don't care if they pan it. Just give me the best cut of the movie. You know, I don't want to hear about no alternate cut. I don't want to hear about it. That's it. You guys have a great one.